What's up, bitches? Welcome back to another episode of So Wet, So Dry. I'm one of your hosts, Fiji, like the island, like the water. I started smoking cigarettes again, and I work in social media and marketing.
And I'm your other host, Autumn, like the season. My hair hasn't been this long since high school, and it feels like a mermaid, and I work in entertainment. So this week, we are going to kind of be wrapping up April. We know that we're a little late. We missed you guys last week, okay? But life got in the way. If you're a loyal listener and you were like, where's So Wet, So Dry? We love you. We just needed a week. But this week, we are going to just sort of highlight some things from the month in pop culture and otherwise. Just some mini topics that don't make the cut for full deep dive episodes. But first, we're going to get into what's got us so wet and so dry right now in this very moment. And I'm going to go first. I am honestly really wet. Like, I can't complain too much. Like, I feel like in terms of like my life, my work, like things are like going right now. Like for the first time, like I have gigs lined up that I'm like good until like August, and I feel so good about that. And I just think it's Taurus season. Like, it's my birthday really soon. Typically, the month of May, like, I feel very happy, like, my whole life. So, I'm just feeling, like, really wet about that. I'm going to go to the spa for my birthday, and that's going to be really nice. Like, get a facial and things like that. So, I'm just really excited. I feel like 27 is, like, really hot. Like, I was nervous about it because it is, like, getting older. But dude, like 27, I just feel like that eats. Like 28, no.
27
but
club 27, though, like everybody dies.
Yeah, I know, babe. I know, but we're not going to talk about that.
Right.
But yeah, I just feel wet. Like things are good. Like, and I am always very pessimistic. So I feel wet about that.
I love this. Okay. Yes, guys, I'm so wet. One, because I'm smoking cigarettes again. I know it's bad. Like I shouldn't be wet about it. I broke down. I smoked the cigarettes, but I paired it with signing up for a gym membership.
Right.
Okay. We're doing kickboxing. So we're balancing out the healthy and the unhealthy again. I was going back and forth and I was like, this is my 20s. Like, this is the only time that I can be unhealthy. I can smoke cigarettes. I can like have fucked up lungs like a little bit, but it's fine. Like later down the line, like every old person always says they just wish they lived. And for me, cigarettes are like, they help me live. I was smoking Black and Milds anyway, which is like so much worse than everyone kept telling me that. So
and it's like
fine.
Yeah.
Kickboxing.
I know. And the kickboxing is so good. And I bet you look so good doing it for real, babe. Like I love that for you. And I'm so proud of you. But I feel like I feel you, like, because I'm like, I like kind of want to quit like weed too, and just like the whole sobriety thing. Like it is like enticing.
But then I started to go down a path where I was like, is this whole sobriety thing like influences of the conservative era that we're in? And am I being brainwashed? Because AA is like conservative cult. That's like a whole other thing piece I could do, guys.
Yeah.
But like.
Yeah, which is like scary. I know. Because don't they like pray in AA? Like it's very like God.
Yes. Yeah. When I was in treatment, I was like,
which is like not a safe space for like a lot of people, especially people with like mental health issues. Like, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. I feel you about the whole living in your 20s thing. Like me, even like turning 27, I'm like, we're still young. Like we're young.
So young.
Like, yeah, we're not 22 anymore, but like that wasn't even really that fun. Like I feel like I was
struggling.
I was all over the place, like just not giving a fuck. Okay, and I'm so dry. Like I'm not even that dry about it for real. Like I feel like I've always kind of known this about myself, but I'm honestly interested in like what you have to say about this, and even any of our listeners, like comment below. But like the idea of coming, right? Like an orgasm, right? Like it's like you would think, like you kind of think like you come because what someone does like makes you feel good, and then you come like the penetration, the tongue, like whatever it is, it's like what they're doing is like really hitting, it feels really good, and then you come. But for me, like, I feel like, yes, like what they're doing, like obviously matters. And like sometimes when I like get out of my head and just like relax and like just allow my body to like feel what they're doing to me, I'm like, oh my God, this feels so fucking good. But I feel like sometimes I'm like in my head and I feel like, I know that we have control over whether we come or not, but I feel like I have like 100% control. And then I think about like the orgasms I've had where like I wasn't ready to come yet and like it just happened. And that's like really triggering. And that's only happened to me in my life like maybe 1 or 2 times. Like usually like I'm steering the ship, which I know we should be, because coming is like so like mental, and it can be like you have to be in the right headspace. But like I don't know, like sometimes I wish like I didn't have to be like thinking and like stuff are happening, and it's just like I don't know, you know?
Like, you wish it would just happen and you don't have to, like, focus on it so
much?
because
and then I feel like I focus on it too hard. And it's like, then you're never going to come.
When you're with a partner, right? But I do that when I'm masturbating, too. Like, when I'm masturbating, sometimes I'm like, all right, I just need a fucking orgasm. I need an orgasm.
No,
and then
when I'm
masturbating,
happen. Too, 100%. And I've been doing that a lot lately. Like, I've been, like, really fucking horny lately. Like, bad.
Because you're fucking
Yeah, I know, but like all hours, it's like not normal. Like I just need to come.
That's what it's like.
And then it's like it's taking me longer, and it's like annoying because it's just And maybe it's because I was celibate for so long that now I'm like popping off a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, it's just
that's
weird.
dry,
like coming is like weird, and like
coming is hard.
I feel like I'm
so
in my head so
physical.
much. Like
and you're not alone in that. So many people feel that way. I feel like it's just like a journey,
right? And you like want to come. You think that's gonna like make them happy, but it's like no, they don't care if you do or not.
No,
like,
because we say all the time like it's not about like we've learned heteronormative sex. Like guys, when they come, it's over. Like what any other type of sex, it's like no, like you can still enjoy it when you don't come. I still enjoy sex when I don't come all the time. Like you know?
And then I like coming multiple times too. Like I like that's really cool. Like that's really hard for me, and like I've like done that recently. So anyways.
Okay, yes.
But yeah, so like it's just let me know if you guys have any thoughts about that, like the whole mental aspect of coming, and like especially like with a one night stand, it's like easier, but then with someone you have feelings for, it's like depending on like how you feel about that in that moment, like I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
You could be controlling it too much.
Like, I think I'm like controlling it too much. I think I'm like in my head.
It's probably like that's why a spa day will be so good.
Yeah,
for you,
like I need
probably
to
have
like
to
relax
release stuff from your body,
right?
Yeah.
And nothing bad has happened, but I'm just like
But your past self, like your body holds on to things, you know. So like obviously it's hard to be vulnerable with like
I know,
new
and
people.
Coming is like so vulnerable.
It's vulnerable.
So much easier when I'm alone.
I don't think I could do it without crying after lately. Like
bro, and then it's like, oh my God, like she's always crying. Like I feel like I'm old. But it's okay. I like that about myself. Like I can let out my emotions.
You're an emotional person. Like,
right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, for so dry, I feel like I'm so dry. I was thinking this today when I was walking to the gym. I don't have good podcasts to listen to right now.
Because I listen to every single one.
I've listened to, but I like got stuck on the ones that I follow. And if you guys listen on Spotify, then you probably know it is so difficult to find podcasts to listen to on Spotify. The algorithm, they don't recommend shit, whatever. So I have the ones that I like and that I listen to, and a couple I'll mention in this episode. But if you guys have any that you listen to, drop them below.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah, honestly, me too. Like, but I'm so niche, so I feel like anything anyone would comment, I'm not going to like it. But yeah.
All right, guys. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, speaking of podcasts, is Mel Robbins and the Let Them Theory. Autumn, you've heard of the Let Them Theory, right?
Let them. Yes.
Let them. And the second half is Let Me, which we're not going to talk about as much, but we are going to talk about Let Them. So Mel Robbins is like a motivational speaker. She has different books like The High Five Habit, where you're supposed to high five yourself in the mirror. And then her latest book is The Let Them Theory. She also has a podcast. She's been touring on a bunch of podcasts, and we're going to watch this clip of her talking about the Let Them Theory.
So I've been using this thing called the Let Them Theory. I love this. I want you to try it. Here's how it works. The next time you feel left out, your friends all go out to brunch together and they don't invite you. Let them. Or maybe the person you're dating doesn't want a commitment. Let them. Or perhaps your spouse does not want to do the 5K with you. Let them. Your company is laying people off. Let them. You spend so much time and energy trying to control other people and getting emotionally worked up about things that are beyond your control. You can tap into peace and true control if you let them be themselves. And here's the other thing. If you let them, people will then reveal who they truly are. And when they reveal who they truly are to you, you now know what you can choose next that's right for you. So let them.
And this whole thing goes hand in hand with something I struggle with. I believe you do as well. Is that we don't believe people when they tell or show us who they are. Because we're so fucking creative, bitch. Like, we are award-winning. We're like, creatives.
What if?
Just making people be people that they're not. And it's a good practice with every person that you meet. Let's not it, and it's kind of main character. Why is it all about you and your projections? It goes hand in hand with that. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this goes for breakups and stuff. I've always made myself feel better where it's just let them, bro. Just let them leave. If they want to leave, they're going to leave. They weren't meant for you. Just let them go. I just feel like we as a generation right now spend way too much time making up stories about who someone really is, or focusing so hard on other people's actions and choices when it's we don't have control over that. All we have control of is how we respond. And I don't know. I love the let them theory. I feel like it does bring me peace, and I don't know. I fuck with it.
It is helpful. I feel like especially if you're someone that struggles with control issues or worrying what other people are doing, checking social media too much, not focusing on yourself enough. The let them theory is it's short, it's sweet, it speaks to you. I think it also speaks a lot to parents. I listened to her podcast episode, the let them theory, on the Mel Robbins podcast, and she talks about how she came up with it, which is essentially it was her son's prom. And they were last minute planning. They wanted to go to this place called Avocado Pit. And she was all no, da 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 da. Trying to control the situation. And her daughter was Mom, if they want to go to Avocado Pit, just let them, chill. And I think, and she talked a lot in the episode about how this is something that's with parenting a lot. Parenting, breakup. She also talked about people who struggle with addiction. So kind of how you're talking about that whole idea of changing people, oh, you want to change them, you want to save them, you want to give them extra money, a place to stay, da-da-da-da, when that really just enables them. And sometimes you need to let them fall into their life choices. But that can also teeter on some conservative thinking, which we're going to talk about a little bit too. But essentially, there's also some controversy with the let them theory because supposedly she plagiarized it.
Okay.
Which, the phrase let them, people have probably used before.
Right.
But there is a woman named Cassie Phillips. She's a 32-year-old mother of two. And according to the New York Post, she had a Facebook post in 2019 that's this poem, and it starts with, just let them. If they want to choose something or someone over you, let them. If they want to go weeks without talking to you, let them. If they're okay with never seeing you, let them. Blah, 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 blah. And it continues on.
Yeah.
And Mel Robbins, it was really funny. I listened to this other podcast called If Books Could Kill, which I love. It's a very nerdy podcast that talks about self-help books.
Okay.
And how they're bad and stuff.
Yeah, I don't fuck with self-help books.
And this is a self-help book. And the thing about self-help books is they often not necessarily prey on vulnerable people, but they are most appealing to people who just got out of breakups, people who just got out of addiction.
You'll try anything.
Who just got divorced. Yeah, who just had a baby. Who aren't happy. And so, yeah, it can breed this cult-like mentality. But essentially, If Books Could Kill kind of criticized her and said she's not a licensed therapist. And also, she responded to the accusations of plagiarism with being oh, well, if people want to think that, let them. And they were she's actually a marketing genius because she just flipped her phrase back on them.
Oh my God.
But the other controversial thing about it is I guess in the book, If Books Could Kill, the podcast talked about how she said let them in terms of politics, which isn't always the best situation. Like if they want to be like that, just let them. And that can kind of make you be like a little bit too sit back and not like be active and do everything.
Or it's like people think I'm a bad person. Let them. It's like, no, like why are people thinking that about you? Yeah.
Right. And same with the addiction to an extent and like helping people and like people changing and all of that, because it's like the whole idea of community and like helping other people out, building community.
That's their
like
whole thing.
The whole, like pull people or pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Like that kind of mentality. Yeah. She seems to have a little bit. So it's, the If Books Could Kill podcast was pretty much like, this is a good theory that could have been like a chapter, but like she obviously had to stretch it to apply to politics and all this other stuff in order to make it a book.
Right. It's not necessarily applicable to all situations. Like, and it shouldn't be, because it's giving like too passive and like you don't care and like not proactive in your life, which is also something I am not. And like I feel like you can get a little clouded by the like, oh, let them let
and then like, just let everybody do everything.
Right.
But she does have a second part of the book that's like let me, so let them do this and let me do this. Like for example, like if your situationship doesn't want to be with you or like whatever, you like make yourself a chai latte and you focus on yourself and you go to a kickboxing class. Like, you know what I'm saying? So let them do what they're doing. Let me do what I'm doing. But there's like flaws in that as well. But I have another TikTok. I liked this part of the let them theory.
Okay.
The truth is you have limited time with your loved ones. At some point, you're going to realize that your parents aren't going to be here forever, and that this was their first time as a human being too. People can only meet you as deeply as they've met themselves. And most people, particularly the people in your family and my family, have not gone to therapy. They haven't looked at their issues. And frankly, they don't want to. Let them. Let your parents be less than what you deserve. Let your family life be something that isn't a fairy tale. They're just doing the best they can with the resources and life experiences they have. But now you get to choose what happens moving forward. The fact is, most human beings have never done the work to understand themselves or heal their past or manage their own emotions. And if they haven't done that for themselves, they are incapable of doing that for you and showing up in a way that you deserve. Let them. When you recognize that you have a choice in your life and you let your family be who they are, and you realize your dad's not changing, your mom's not changing, your siblings aren't changing. The only person you can change is you. When you say let them, you see your family exactly as they are, perhaps for the very first time. They're human, and you have no control over what's happened in your family. You have no control over who they are. You can only control what you do from this point forward. When you learn how to let adults be adults and accept people as they are, and then you decide how to make the best of it, I promise you, your family dynamics are going to get better. That's how powerful you are.
So obviously she's talking about difficult family dynamics, which is like, again, the vulnerable people situation going on. But it can apply to like friends, coworkers, boyfriends, girlfriends, significant others, all of that as well. And I like the whole idea of like, you know, people are human. This is their first time on earth too. Just like you, most people. Maybe.
I'm sorry.
Maybe this is their first time on earth, so like they don't know, they haven't solved their past shit, they haven't like worked through their trauma, their experiences. And like you said, like I definitely have a history of being with people where it's like, oh no, like I want to like let them be fucked up, but then like continue to be with them at the same time.
And like
then
go
it's, like,
down, shrink yourself to meet them,
right,
when you deserve someone that's up where you are. Yeah, I mean, I like that too. And like, it's like the whole part about like, you have no control like over like who your family is. And like, honestly, with my dad, like, I feel like with age, it's like, and I remember the first time I like saw my parents as human and I was like, holy fuck.
Yes.
Like, you guys aren't like actual like superheroes.
Gods, like
perfect
angels
in every single way. I was like, oh
like
shit.
You're flawed.
Like, it's a sad moment in time, but it's like, yeah, like I like with my dad, I'm just like it is like he's not changing, and like all my energy and all we get so worked up about like wishing someone would change or like treat us the way that we want them to treat us, but it's like it's just a waste of space, and it like ruins our peace, and it's like so that's why I do like let them be how they are. But now I just feel like you just can't lose like the proactive piece too. It's like let them be how you are, but like you need to go find like chosen family or like people that like do treat you the way you want to be treated, and not just
speak up.
Yeah,
too, because I feel like that's something with my therapist that I've had to, because like I feel like as much as I can be a control freak about certain things, like I have adopted the let them theory like in my life to a point where it's like I just let everyone around me do what they're doing. And then don't like speak up about what I want, or like let it be known that I think something differently. Dude, like, you know, like have you ever been in an Uber? Like, this is a bad example, but like been in an Uber where like the Uber driver is saying something like fucked up, and you're just like, oh yeah, like going along with the conversation because you don't know what else to do in that situation. Because you're in a
car with a stranger.
Right, but you have relationships with people in your life, like I do, like family members, friends, like whatever, where I'm like, I don't feel like I'm showing up as my full self. I'm letting them be them, and then just like mirroring it back to them.
Dude,
that's not okay.
It literally, and it is like a form of like self-protection. Like we're literally being chameleons and trying to like meet that person where they are. But I know, like, I'll see my dad and then go home to my mom and be like, I laughed at this joke and it wasn't funny. Like,
and then you feel guilty.
I feel guilty, and I feel like, well, he doesn't know me, and I get mad about that. But I'm like, you have never showed him like who you are, though, because you like just try to like, it's like a people pleasing thing too. Yeah. And it's like at the end of the day, it's not good for us. Like it doesn't feel good to like not like walk in your truth, especially to someone like a parent or like someone in your immediate family where you're like supposed to quote unquote be able to do that. But yeah, dude. So I don't know, like maybe let them theory like kind of silences us in a way. Like I feel like if you're just like letting them and like that's it, wrapping it up, it's like, no, you should in certain situations like maybe try to push back a little bit. Like you don't have to just let them and then just be super nice to them if they're an asshole, like, you know? So, yeah, that's a good point. But I feel like I silence myself all the time that I didn't even think of that. I'm like, oh, yeah, like we should say something.
And that's the thing. Like these self-help things are like so cute. They're so perfect. They so perfectly apply. Like when I was listening to her podcast, I was like, yes. Like I used to listen to On Purpose with Jay Shetty all the time.
Oh,
like
yeah,
he's a big self-help guru.
I remember
and then I realized like that was like a little culty, like a little bit. Like you have to think critically about it because otherwise I think you get too in this like passiveness.
Yes.
And you need to be able to speak your truth. And a lot of the self-help, it's either one way or it's the other because they're solving like one unique problem.
And being passive right now is like the biggest detriment that you could do to yourself. Like in general, but especially right now. And I do feel like we are in a very passive, like the political.
Yes.
What is it again? You're going to
the political climate?
Yeah, no, like political apathy.
Yes.
Yes,
you did that episode.
I know. I just wanted to make sure, like, apathetic, like anyways.
Yes, apathy.
Okay. But yeah, so, but I definitely didn't think critically about the let them theory, and I was just like, yeah, it's great, and I feel like that's how, like, a lot of trends are right now, but I remember the self-help books, like, in Urban Outfitters, like, they were so cute, and it's, like, how to be happy, bro, but yeah,
I had a self-help, like, era.
Like people have gifted me those books before, and I'm like,
no, I read, like, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
Yeah.
The Habits one, I read,
the
like
Atomic
Habits.
I
had a whole era of self-help.
Because it's like, yeah, like you're
I needed help.
Like fuck. Like, no, literally. Like, we can't be for real. There's always, but with marketing and capitalism, like, you can't trust anything.
It's never a fix-all for everything. Like, there are nuances.
Yeah, it has to be like 15% of your self-care, maybe.
Yes.
Okay, so next we're going to talk about Pop the Balloon content turned to Netflix. And I'll be so for real. I did not watch the whole thing. I like couldn't bear it.
No, but the end?
Dude,
Did you watch The Last Guy?
No.
Okay, can I just say, just to fill you in before you watch it? Because it was live.
Right.
The Last Guy was like nervous, like so nervous that he was like about to cry. Like his voice was shaking while they were like saying, and it was like the most secondhand embarrassment, but at the same time, I would be the same way.
But I feel like they
if I was,
loved that he was like that. Like that show was so cringe baby.
It was so awful.
Yeah.
But he was like literally about to cry. I felt so bad for him.
Dude. Yeah. And it's like spoiler, like nobody found love. You know what I mean? And like the amount of like offensive comments was like literally insane. And I know that like, and if you guys don't know, like we did an episode on humiliation content, OnlyFans creators, and this Pop the Balloon YouTube series that were everywhere.
Yeah, watch that episode. It's such a good one.
Yeah, watch that episode. I've watched a lot of like OG Pop the Balloon, okay? But the Netflix one, like, holy shit. Like, it is just like giving, like, they clearly were like trying to do something and it just didn't work. But basically, Pop the Balloon was like created by this woman named Arlette Amuli and her husband Bolia Matandu, okay? And they're the executive producers on the show. And a lot of people,
of Netflix.
Yeah, and a lot of people were like, oh my God, like they just took it away from them. And it's like, no. Like they are the executive producers on the show. However, how much control do they really have?
Right.
We don't know. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. But also worth noting, the host is Yvonne Orji, which is our girl Molly from Insecure. Love that she's on it. A little bit unfortunate due to the circumstances, but like still like was happy to see her. And I watched the YouTube video Netflix Gentrified Pop the Balloon and It's a Mess by Armon Wiggins. And he was basically talking about like this always happens with shit black people create. Like in order for it to go mainstream, they whitewash it completely. And like this is like a tale as old as time. Exactly. Because the original Pop the Balloon was black people and people of color, but mostly a black show completely. Like behind the scenes, on camera, all of that. And Armand said like he doubts Yvonne even would have been the host if it wasn't for the original creators being there. But he's like, I don't think they had any control over who was cast on the show in terms of the race diversity and all of that. And like, so like black people were really and are really upset, and especially like Black Twitter was where a lot of like people were talking about it. But it's also just like, you know, for Arlette to kind of, you know, get the money. And it's like, that's enticing. It's hard to say no to. And it's like, she is still there rather than Netflix, like kind of like ripping it off. It's like, she still is the executive producer and like sort of like has that ownership creative role. But like in terms, and Netflix wanted to like get viewers by putting in like a reality star from like Too Hot to Handle. But it's like what Armand was saying is like the audiences don't translate. Like the show is not going to do well. They're not transferable. And because the authenticity is gone, you know, like it's so cringy to watch. It's so fucking weird. It is not the same vibe. And it's like, was Pop the Balloon content on YouTube like, you know, fantastic in every way? No, like a lot of it was problematic in terms of like the misogyny and like things like that.
The body shaming.
And all of that. But it's like, that is all emulating like what our culture really is. And like that's what we talked about in that episode is like this is like modern day dating. Like this is unfortunately like how a lot of men talk to women and like how we interact with men.
Because it's everyday people, or it'd be like a rapper or something like that. But like having the reality stars was so weird.
Because it's not like, everyday people anymore. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like automatically takes you out of that like reality lens where like I think the original Pop the Balloon content did kind of put us in, unfortunately. And with the rappers and all that stuff. But guys want to act exactly like that. And they do because they see the big rappers and stars acting like that or what have you. So what have you. Okay. And then it's interesting because in our episode, like we talked about like humiliation content wouldn't exist without OnlyFans or like sex workers, because a lot of women that would go on that show were strippers, sex workers, OnlyFans creators, what have you. And it's like, that's clearly, I mean, I don't know, but it doesn't really look like anyone's promoting their fucking sex tapes
It was
on
too
here.
clean. Like, it was too weirdly, like, scrubbed, whitewashed. Like,
Right.
They couldn't even swear. Did they swear? I don't think they swore at all.
No, and because it's Netflix. It's like completely different, and it's just like...
And it was live, which was a terrible decision.
That whole thing is crazy.
Netflix trying to do live shit just doesn't work.
Like, I really feel like they wanted to make that, like, some sort of too hot to handle, like, live dating show. But it just, like... It just didn't work. And I feel like the original, like, YouTube Pop the Balloon content's so good, too. It's like... They didn't know right away how quickly it would blow up. So it was just like a small type of project where you just go.
Yeah.
A lot of bitches, they're like, I didn't even know what I was coming to. Like, they don't really tell you, like, when you got that text and like, oh, show up here, it's an event. It's like, now it's like, okay, you're going to be on Netflix, it's live, and people are going to pop balloons in front of you. It's like, should this have just like stayed in like YouTube? Like, was it safer there?
Yeah.
And, like, now it's, like, because I'm sure, like, a lot of people that watched it don't even know about, like, the OG Pop the Balloon and just think, like, whatever. I mean, maybe they do. I mean, I think it's really out there.
At this point, people probably know because it made its way on TikTok so much, too.
At this point, yeah. But it's just, like, it's weird because I feel like I was for it in our last episode, like, because of the sex work angle and, like, those things and, like, people being able to, like, promote themselves to huge audiences. Like, those videos would get millions of views. And again, you would show up and not even know like what was going on. Like it was low stakes. Obviously, when you had like fucking DaBaby on it, you would probably be a little bit nervous, but I don't even know if they would tell you like what rapper
They don't
was
tell
there.
you what rapper, because when they tried to cast me for it, they didn't tell us what rapper.
Yeah, or it could just be a YouTuber with a small following or just like a random ass guy. Like there was so much variety of it.
Yeah.
Like especially when there was like Pop the Balloon and there was like all random guys and random girls, not like the 20 girls, one rapper.
Yeah.
Like that was like more of like what this was trying to be. But like all that to say, it's like, I don't know how for it I am. It's like you completely whitewashed it, one. There's no really sex work angle anymore. So it's just blatant misogyny and like Netflix being like, yeah, we're like okay with this. Like I honestly think there should be a fucking hotline at the end of like if you're like, because it was really, really offensive. Like there were racial jokes, like all sorts of things happening.
And the guy at the end, he looked so nervous. Like, bro, like you have to low-key go back and watch because it was like the definition of cringe, but in a sense where it's like you feel bad for him. And also like I would do the same fucking thing. Like I would be about to cry if people were going to pop balloons for me.
And
like,
it was the same thing. Like they would even pop the balloons because, oh, your toes looked a certain way. Like toes are like so important to like straight people.
Yeah, that's
I don't know
weird
if
to
queer
me.
people too, I guess, but like just I don't know. Like if they're
they are to certain
like
queer
I guess
people
it
too,
is important. Like in a way, but
it's a fetish.
I'm not ever like, oh, I know. Like it's fucking weird. I don't get that fetish. But I also saw this woman talking about it on TikTok, so we're gonna watch this really quick.
Not sorry, but I feel like Netflix is ruining the Pop the Balloon show. It did not need to be a live show. It did not need another host. And it definitely didn't need to be on Netflix. Anything that is targeted for Black people don't need to be gentrified or globalized. Because whenever it does, it fails. For example, we've seen that in our hair products. The minute that Mylao and Shea Moisture sold their company, a lot of their Black customers couldn't use their product anymore. And let's be honest, you cannot globalize a product or a show that is meant for Black people to appeal to everybody. It's like putting raisins in collard greens. They really are just playing in our faces. The only reason why they're trying to move Pop the Balloon off of YouTube to Netflix, they're trying to find a way to capitalize off of Gen Z. Basically, they're trying to get them away from a phone and laptop screen to a TV screen. So if you're a Black-owned business owner and you see a big-name corporation offer you or want to work with you, just know that these corporations don't mind failing a successful Black-owned business. And history continues to show us that they need us more than we need them.
Yeah, that last part she said is such facts. Like, they need the Black community more than the Black community needs them. And, like, It works on YouTube. Like, it works on TikTok. It works on those platforms. It works for those audiences, those smaller creators.
Right.
Bringing in, like, the Netflix giant and their reality stars who were regular people before, whatever. But at this point, they're such big influencers. It's just, like, it kills it.
And
I
don't think Arlette is to blame, and, like, her husband as well.
Right.
Like, I think it's so hard, especially, like, we talk about it all the time. Like, when you see that money in front of you or, like, whatever.
Oh, my God.
Like, it's so hard. I think it's, like, what we can take away from this is, like, the trend of, like, what this is happening and not, like, blame certain people. Like, not even Netflix, but it's just, like, it's right in front of us. Like, this always happens. And it, like, the whitewashing was enough. Like, if you know original Pop the Balloon, there was not a lot of white people on that show, and, like, it's fine, you know what I mean? And it's like the fact that Netflix, like, feels like, oh, we need to, like, there was 2 black women and, like, 2 black men, I think, like, out of 5, and it's like, it's just way too fucking low. And it's like the way that they cast that, like, says everything about how they really feel, you know? So it's just, it's crazy. And I never thought the original Pop the Balloon was, like, perfect. Like, there were definitely moments on there where I felt really bad for the women.
The black community didn't love, and we talked about that in our episode. Like, there's only so much we can speak to because we're obviously not part of the black community, but we did highlight how even the black community felt mixed reviews about, like, Pop the Balloon on YouTube. But still, it was within the community. When you take it to a corporation like Netflix, which I'm pretty sure is white owned or at least whitewashed, that completely changes it.
Right. I mean, look at the shows they put out. And the whole thing she said about Gen Z too was, like, really interesting. As in they're like wanting, like, Netflix is, like, appealing to them the most, or, like, what did you think about that?
Yeah, I think that was facts because honestly, you know, Colin and Samir, that other podcast that I listen to, they talk about the creator economy and like, and they're always talking about, like, what, like, does well on YouTube and how to get it on a bigger streaming site in Hollywood and everything, like Netflix, because that's the supposed, like, idea of making it. Right? Like, you want to get on Netflix, you want to get on Hulu, whatever. But, like, nowadays, like, with TikTok and social media and YouTube, like, you could be a dope big creator and just function off of YouTube.
Like, damn near A-lister. And just
like
on
Mr. Beast and, like, all of that stuff, like Piper Raquel, even with the controversy. Drew off Wallow, like, all these people that were, like, on those platforms, like, sometimes it's just better to stay there. Like, they might think that the next step is going to Netflix, and Netflix obviously wants them to bring that audience, because I watch YouTube on my TV more than I watch Netflix on my TV.
Right. Like,
for sure.
I know. And
so they obviously want to get people like me, you know?
Right. And I just think that they really just didn't need to do that, though. Like, they should have just, like, kept it as it is, but at the same time, it's like, I want to be happy for, like, Arlette that, like, that was, like,
hopefully she got a big check.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's a huge fucking deal. And, like, even being the executive producer, like, that doesn't always happen. Like, you have to, like, negotiate those things. Like, these big companies are, like, horrible. Like, they want all of the word you taught me, which is, like, the IPA or the independent creative freedom shit.
I don't even remember the intellectual property.
Yeah, like that shit.
The IP,
It's just, like, it's a layered situation. And again, obviously, like, we, like, can't speak to how the black community feels about this, but it's just, like, so obviously, like, whitewashed, not the same, and, like, really fucking problematic.
And just a bad show.
And it's just bad quality.
Bad.
It's bad.
Is it canceled? Because they said weekly on Thursdays, and I didn't see it when I opened Netflix
there's
last
no
night.
Fucking way, dude. I feel like if they didn't yet, it's going to. Like, I feel like
the
ratings are going to be really bad. One of my friends in LA, actually, like, she's not really a friend. Like, we just, like, met each other once. She's like, oh, I'm going to be on it soon. And I was like, you are? Like, I'm like, why would you do that? She's, like, a micro influencer, but I was just like, okay, like, I don't know. And it's, like, enticing, I guess, because it is Netflix. But I think it makes Netflix look really just, like, not a good quality show. It's not like telling us really anything about dating. Like it's just not the same.
It's not like Love
when
is
you
Blind.
make it
Like they can't do
mainstream,
the same thing. Yeah.
The part about the YouTube like Pop the Balloon was that it was like so much realism. Like that's why it was like more okay that it was like because it said something
because
about,
it reminds you of like the guys that you meet outside the bar that try to hit on you. Like that's what they say.
This was not reminding me of that.
That was not like that at all.
I know.
Yeah.
And there's layers to it. Like not all of the Pop the Balloon content on YouTube was bad. Like some of it really was okay. Like the more viral ones would be like a lot of misogyny and things like that. But yeah, it just should have never gone to Netflix. Like congrats to Arlette. Honestly, that's the only win in the situation because it's just embarrassing, the whole thing.
Okay, so next we're going to talk about Lorde and her new song, What Was That? She staged a show in Washington Square Park in New York a few weeks ago. I'm not really sure the timeline now, but essentially she sent out an email and text blast to fans and urged them to meet me in the park tonight, 7 p.m. And she did not specify which park. She didn't have to. So I'm reading from this article from the New York Times. And it says that by 6 p.m., hundreds of young people had descended on the park in Greenwich Village, creating a festive atmosphere with Lorde songs blasting, some people smoking marijuana, and several climbing trees for a better view of the concert that did not happen. And I'm going to show some videos of like what was transpiring at this event while they're all waiting for her to come. And some people were like, look at us all unemployed, right? Because like most people, you know, you have your little 9 to 5 or you work at a restaurant and like you don't have like days like this where you could just go to Washington Square Park and like look for Lorde.
Bro.
And some people were saying like, oh, this was actually really awkward because like we're all socially fucking awkward and like standing in a park with a bunch of people. Like, I don't know. The thought of doing that not drunk to me is a little bit like what are we doing?
Bro, the thought of me doing anything not drunk is scary.
And I want us to talk about that idea a little bit
great
after.
Fantastic.
But essentially someone interviewed at the park said, we were just saying this feels like the start of the summer, so if she didn't come out it would feel like the summer isn't starting yet.
Oh my god, it's like Groundhog's Day.
Yes, exactly. And it's perfect for her to be the next summer, right? Because she did the whole thing with Charlie XCX, Brat. They had the billboard. This is like the new trend in marketing.
Summer. Yeah.
It's a Lorde summer. But essentially, just before 7 p.m., she posted an Instagram story saying that the planned show would not proceed.
Oh, shit.
And she wrote, OMG, at the park, cops are shutting us down. I'm truly amazed by how many of you showed up, but they're telling me you got to disperse. I'm sorry. And then a spokeswoman for the Parks and Recreation Department confirmed that the city had blocked the show from proceeding because it lacked permits. The department, in collaboration with the NYPD and Mayor's Office of Citywide Special Events, worked with the organizers to safely cancel the unpermitted event. So essentially, a permit is like required to do these sorts of events. And you know who Kai Cenat is, right?
Yes.
The streamer?
Yes.
He had gotten in trouble recently for an unsanctioned event in Union Square Park in August of 2023.
But shouldn't Lorde's managers like have permits? Like what?
Well, this is what I'm saying, right? And he was charged with inciting a riot, which is like also like you got to think about the layers of like race going on. Why wasn't Lorde charged with inciting a riot? Because later it was dispersed. She did eventually show up. She played one song and then she left, but the people still stayed there hoping to see her. But I was just thinking about this and it's like, why the fuck can we not, as like young people, have a concert in the park? Like, to start the summer with Lorde or Kai Cenat or whoever without the police officers being like, you need a fucking permit and shut the whole thing down. Like, can we not gather? No wonder we're so fucking awkward. Like,
Dude.
We don't know how to. It's a police state kind of. Like,
no,
it just
really
made
is.
me think about that, you know?
Yeah, it's like, it shouldn't be that hard for us to have, like, especially, like, how concerts and like community, like everyone talks about, like you hear like an artist play and you're in the crowd, like you feel connected to like everybody there standing around you,
right?
Even when you don't know them. And it's like, yeah, out of all the things they could be shutting down right now, like they're gonna shut down like an innocent, but that's just how it fucking goes every single time. But it's like, yeah, in a state of the world we're in where like community feels like it's completely died, that's a very ironic situation to have happened.
And that's why marketing events like this one that Lorde did work so well, because they get people out of their homes, out to go see something exciting.
And it's special, and it's like a surprise. You didn't know it was coming. It's not like you bought tickets a year in advance. Like,
it's free. You get to meet new people. And then after the event, they all went through the streets. Yeah, they just showed up at the park.
Right.
Like, it was just like they just showed up. And then they all went through the streets, like, singing Lorde songs, and they were talking about the nostalgia of, like, the Lorde era, like, 2016, 2012, whenever she dropped her album.
I really only know, like, fucking Royals. Like, that's, like, the only song. But I loved that song.
You know others. I promise
know, I do.
You know others. You just don't know the names, but there's other songs that you know. But Lorde also let us know that her new album is called Virgin, and we're going to watch this TikTok where someone talks about it a little bit.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Lorde's brand new album, Virgin, is coming June 27th, and this is our first look at the album cover. Based on an interview she did with BBC where she described this as the ultimate nude, I'm going to assume that this is an x-ray of her pelvis. But it looks like she's wearing jeans because there's a zipper, a belt buckle, and if you look closely to the right of the zipper, there's an IUD. The IUD is really interesting because the album title is called Virgin, so I'm wondering if there's a deeper meaning here. She also sent out this email to her fans, which you can pause to read. To sum it up, she describes the album cover as very personal to her and very transparent. From the looks of it, we're getting 11 songs on this album. We've already heard What Was That, which is so good. So I'm excited to see what else is coming.
Wait, I'm so excited. I haven't heard What Was That. Now I want to see it. The ultimate
You can look it up.
That's
you
so
can look it up
cool.
on YouTube and see her do it. Like, the music video is very low budget. It's of the, like, little concert in Washington Square Park. And that was, like, the hype. Like, she's very much following in Charli XCX's footsteps with the whole, like, brat billboard and creating buzz and all
Which
of that.
Which is so crazy because of the whole girl so confusing. And it's like they're really leaning into, like, those, like, parallels that they do have. Like, I don't know why they do kind of give the same vibe in a way, but I feel like I've gotten to know, like, Charli XCX more with this whole Brat Summer, and I'm like, no, like, they are different.
They're so different.
Yeah,
like,
but
their
it's like,
music sounds are very different, but they're both very cool girl. Like,
right, like,
very
mysterious, cool, yeah.
Mysterious, cool music, like, all that stuff. But I'm going to read the part where she said pause to read.
Okay.
This is what Lorde says about the album. The color of the album is clear, like bathwater, windows, ice, spit. Full transparency. The language is plain and unsentimental. The sounds are the same wherever possible. I was trying to see myself all the way through. I was trying to make a document that reflected my femininity, raw, primal, innocent, elegant, open-hearted, spiritual mask. I'm proud and scared of this album. There's nowhere to hide. I believe that putting the deepest parts of ourselves to music is what sets us free. And I think this is really beautiful, especially in the concert. She was dressed much more masked, and people are kind of wondering, like, is she queer? Is she, like, coming out? All of this stuff. So I wanted to ask you, like, reading this, seeing what's happening, do you think it's a Lorde summer? And what do you think this album Virgin means? Like, what is she trying to say before we can listen to it yet because it's not out?
Yeah, I feel like that's the part that, like, interests me the most. And I feel like her, like, the whole thing of, like, the like, as clear as possible. Like, I'm trying to see myself. And then the word used in there, unsentimental. And, like, I don't know, maybe this is, like, too easy of a conclusion and I'm just like, whatever. But, like, first glance, I'm like, the ultimate nude, right? Like, and a pelvis bone structure is not, like, sexy, like, pussy pic that you would think of or whatever. But it's like, that's, like, actually, like, what we look like. And, like
raw,
and you can
like,
see
woman.
that, like, clear,
yeah.
like, the IUDs in there. Like, there's a lot going on. And, like, the unsentimental is about how, like, losing your virginity, like, really, like, doesn't matter that much. And, like, this is, like our bodies are just doing this.
And we, like, all have the same bones. Like,
right.
With
pelvic
the pelvic structure. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know, like, because I feel like, especially, like, in this whole, like, Puritan conservative era that we're in, recession, like, all of these things, it's like, I feel like this would be a perfect moment to, like, make something, like, intersectional, like feministy. Like that is what I'm getting from it.
Yeah,
I don't
same.
know Lorde's like values and like all of
Me
those
neither.
things, but I just feel like she gets it. Like I just feel like she would, like based on the music I do know, and I have seen her like in some interviews. So like, but I don't know. Like, and also I'm just like, she's like very much an artist. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah, she
and
has synesthesia supposedly, where she can see colors with music.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool. But I mean, I feel like in terms of, is it going to be a Lorde Summer? Like, I hope it is, because I feel like Charlie XCX and Brat Summer like gave us that like confidence and like feeling yourself,
Messiness,
and,
like
messiness
being a
and embracing
girl.
that and like the hard parts about you. But this seems like, at least to me, like to make an album title like Virgin and have the ultimate nude as the background, your pelvis structure, like it does feel political. How could it not be?
Yes.
And the IUD,
With the
is
IUD.
right there. Like
Yes.
it's definitely a big statement. Like I feel like there's no way it couldn't be political to do that right now. But also, as we know, like what's that saying? Like the political is personal, or the personal is political, because
The personal is political.
we're not-
and even
yeah.
the gathering in Washington Park and the like them trying to shut it down feels very political as well.
Right, exactly. Because it's
So-
like we cannot separate like our personal feelings from politics, like especially right now. So it's like,
Yeah.
yes, while this might be political, it's also like about how she feels and like wanting to see yourself and like other people too. But yeah, I think like the like the desexualization of like women by like saying like your pelvis bone is an ultimate nude is like really cool, and like something that I would definitely like write an essay on in college.
Yes, yes. Who knows? There could be an episode coming out of this, like
Dude,
in the future when the
I'm
album
down.
comes out. Yeah.
Like, especially like once the album comes out and all of that, because I feel like although like what Brat gave us, like we do need a little bit of this too, which like is a little bit more like intellectual, deep, personal, like all of those
Yes.
things, like as
Raw.
women, femme people, like not just women and just fucking people in general, like. Yeah, and the irony of the concert, bitch, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, so the last sort of situation that we're going to wrap up here is the whole Jojo Siwa situation. And I read this article from The Cut. Sorry, but what's going on with Jojo Siwa? And I feel like that is the perfect article title, because honestly, you guys, it's a lot, but I'm going to break it down
lot.
simply for us.
Okay.
And really what I want to talk about is like, what does this make us think about like boundaries and relationships and sexuality, fluidity, and those sorts of things. But basically who we're dealing with is Jojo Siwa, who's 21 years old, Chris Hughes, who's 32, and he's like a celebrity. They were on Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother together. And then
Okay.
Jojo's previous partner, Kath Ebbs, who's 27 and is gender nonconforming, basically.
I already want to say there's a big age gap.
Yeah, 21,
going
27 is a little bit OD.
on. And then 21, 30?
32. Yeah.
That's like 11 years. Okay.
Right. That's a little bit fucking crazy. But anyways, yeah. So Jojo and Kath were dating. And as what I follow Jojo Siwa on TikTok, like whatever.
Okay.
And like people were like happy about that relationship. Like they were like, oh my God, like Jojo's like, yes, like this is like
she's
a
gay,
normal
she's
situation.
out, she's proud.
Yeah, she's a lesbian, like all that shit. And basically her relationship like was great as far as everyone knows, but then she goes on Big Brother. And essentially what I'm gathering, what started the whole thing is this other fucking fucker, this guy named Mickey, who's like a celebrity on Big Brother. He was all like, Jojo, like, I'm gonna vote the lesbian out, like being so homophobic and horrible. Okay.
What?
And Jojo's like, what the fuck? And like she stands up for herself. Like he is just a fucking asshole, which is not surprising. Like people are like, he's always like this, whatever. So
Ew.
that caused Chris to be like, oh, Jojo, it's okay. And they kind of like started to have this moment about like identity and queerness. And they got close because he was comforting her from that fucked up man saying dumb shit.
Right.
But basically, they got really fucking close, okay? And they were like kissing each other on the forehead and like doing all of these like very coupley types of things. And like she had a partner, and like her partner was like watching this happen. and like wasn't posting on Instagram. Like people knew that it was bad. So it's like she was cheating essentially, and why people were so upset. But people were also so upset because she did, and I'll quote her actually. I feel like so queer. Do you know what I mean? I've always told myself I'm a lesbian, and I think being here, meaning Big Brother, I've realized, oh, I'm not a lesbian, I'm queer. And I think that's really cool. She's like, fuck the L, I'm going to the Q. Like, you know how she is. And so it's like there's two different things going on here, because it was clear on TikTok that the lesbian community was like, you were never a lesbian, like all this shit. And I do not think that is okay at all.
Yeah.
Like, am I biased?
Policing
Maybe.
people's
But like the
sexuality.
lesbian to queer pipeline. And I also feel like at the end of the day, like her partner like was gender nonconforming. So it's like maybe queer would be more inclusive, like I don't know,
right.
like how all those things work, like, you know what I mean? Like the words and the genders and all of that. But at the end of the day, like she's 21 years old, okay? And like we know sexuality is fluid. Like we know that. Like I literally believe it's like it could change at any moment, like depending on what person you meet, ultimately that changes things for you. So that part I'm like really not okay with. Like I feel like, oh my God, she's 21 years old. She was raised in a very chaotic way. Like she's been thinking the world revolves around her since she was like 6 years old. Like she knows she's people's like quote unquote guilty pleasures, and she is. Like people love to hate her.
And people love to laugh at her and all that stuff too. When realistically, like she's gone through a lot, like coming out as queer, lesbian, whatever, being the child star that she was. Like she talks about how much she loves Miley Cyrus and all of that. She did kind of have a Miley Cyrus type moment as a queer woman.
Right.
Know?
As a queer woman. Exactly. And so while I believe like that is good, like do I think it's okay to like cheat on your partner, especially like to let the world see it on Big Brother? Like no, but there
predatory?
Wait. And there was this one scene where like I saw on TikTok, because like I don't watch Big Brother. Like come on, you guys.
Same.
Like I literally fucking can't with that show. Honestly.
Yeah,
but
Andrew Tate was on that show.
Of course, like it's just horrible. But there was this one scene where like it was in the morning and Chris and JoJo like slept together and woke up, and one of the other contestants was like, JoJo, like you guys slept together last night? And she was like, yeah. And he's like, I think you're not gonna have a relationship when you go back home. And she's like, oh no.
When have a relationship.
Okay. And he was like, I don't think you're going to have a relationship when you go back home. And she was like, oh, no. Like, they don't care. And so a lot of people were like, oh, they are just friends. Like, maybe they're, like, bonding over, like, their queer identities and, like, the kissing on the forehead, the sleeping in the same bed. Like,
it's pushing it, but, like, we don't know their, like, dynamic. They could be, like, semi-open. That could be okay.
Yeah, but they're not, though, because according to Kath Ebbs, like they posted, I don't entirely know what their pronouns are, so I feel like we should just say they, but they posted like, oh, JoJo broke up with me like right after the Big Brother rap party. Like I was so shocked and sad. Like they seem very shook by this, which like I'm never gonna support that. Like I'm not. Like that is like, if that wasn't okay to do in your relationship, then you shouldn't be like dating anyone. Like you shouldn't have done that. And I do feel like being on TV like does make it kind of worse, dude. Like I feel
because
like
it's public.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know. Like I feel like boundaries like are just like such an important thing. And it's like even if you're dating someone and you think like, oh, they're never gonna cheat on me, it's like maybe you should tell them that like, oh, like I don't want you to like flirt with the barista real quick. Like that's not okay with me. Or like you can flirt with the barista real quick. Like whatever. Like what is
the boundaries?
And like you should be cool like either way, you know? Like that was just a stupid example, but like what really is cheating? Because I think it's different for everyone. Like if you have like an intimate moment with a friend that's completely platonic, but you're like holding them and like really cuddling, or like I don't know, like
or
some
like
people,
sleeping together in the same bed, like me and you sleep together in the same bed, like we're both queer. Does like one of our partners have a problem with that?
That would
like,
be insane. I would tell them, I'm sorry, but we're going to sleep together.
Right, but maybe they have that sort of relationship. But I keep going back to the fact that like the 8, like I get they're in the same playing field. Like they're on this show together. It's different. Like Jojo Siwa is probably like immature and more mature in a lot of ways because of everything that she's gone through, like running businesses and like all of this stuff.
Right.
Like she's clearly dating a 27-year-old.
Yeah.
But like, does it not feel a little bit like predatory?
It does feel a little bit predatory. It definitely does. And like, honestly, just reading that, I didn't realize she was only 21. I thought she was at least like 23.
24, yeah.
Something, right? Because it's like she does kind of like, I know people might laugh when I say this, but like, I do think she does have some maturity. Like at the end of the day, she is a businesswoman. Like she's done really great things for herself.
Yeah.
Like, love her or hate her, like I do think she's a little bit smart and like knows what she's doing. I think you have to
has a voice
to be in that position. Yeah, and she uses it. She uses it real motherfucking loud. But I know.
Yeah.
And I just feel like this is just reminding me of like our biphobia quote unquote episode. Like people get so mad when you say you're a lesbian and then you're not anymore. But are they really getting mad? Are we projecting? Are all the lesbians mad about it? Just projecting about themselves?
I feel like people realistically, if you believe that like you shouldn't have to have a big coming out moment, that like queerness, being gay, whatever should be at the same level as being heterosexual, I don't understand how you can be angry at this, because it's like, shouldn't this just be part of her growing up? Like in a non-heteronormative society where you have to be like heterosexual first and then come out, like wouldn't it be normal to be like lesbian and then like queer and then like you're finding yourself?
I think it's like we're so conditioned to be polarized and we live in a scarcity mindset. And I feel like maybe lesbians feel like, you know, because we are progressing like socially somewhat in terms of like gender and sexuality. Obviously in like law and politics we're going completely backwards.
There's only 2 genders apparently,
right? But we have had some like moments before like all of that happened, and like we have progressed in a way. And like I don't know, I feel like even though it's like you're queer, like we accept like everyone in the community, like I feel like we're just such an individualized society that like even though like you say like you're liberal and like what all this stuff, it's like you still feel like you're like in the lesbian club and then you got kicked out of it, and like you're not like one of us though because you like men and like all that shit. Like it does feel like that, and I know that because I used to identify as lesbian and like look down on people that like it's so embarrassing, but it's true. Like I was like, I don't want to be like you. Like I want to be like with my first girlfriend, like we're lesbians, like scream it, like we're fucking lesbians. Like that does feel empowering. Like we have nothing to do with men ever. And like,
but it's that
why
binary
is that cool?
of like
that's like the oppression, Olympics and all that shit too plays into it a little bit. And it's just like, but like people were like, you were never a lesbian. And I'm like, I don't think we were ever really anything. Like I think we're constantly evolving. And it's like people that are just born and they're just like, I'm straight, like till they die. Like that's
and they
crazy
never
to
question.
Like that's crazy to, or even they do, but they're like, no, like I'm just straight. They're just like that's crazy. Stuck in there. I just can't even imagine. Like, I just feel like you're missing out. But I don't know. So let's watch some things that JoJo herself had to say.
I've always told myself I'm a lesbian, but I think being here, I realized, oh no, I'm not a lesbian, I'm queer.
You are.
And I think that's really cool.
You are.
I'm switching letters! I've always...
Your comments about not being a lesbian anymore, I mean, I understand the context, but like,
I don't know if what I said in the heat of the moment, did I say being a lesbian? I don't remember saying that.
That's not my understanding. My understanding is you didn't feel like lesbian fully encompassed, you know, your sexuality. And then it honestly seemed more based off the premise that at the time you were dating a non-binary person. So that kind of makes sense to say I'm queer, which is more inclusive.
I also was around somebody who's super queer. And I was looking at Danny. And Danny and I had loads of conversations about, you know, being queer and gender identity. And it was beautiful. And I come out of the house to see that. And I see the lesbian community coming at me saying, like, how dare you, whatever. First of all, let's clarify a couple of different things here. Sexuality is fluid. gender identity are fluid. You can be one thing today and one thing tomorrow. People saying to me that I have never been a lesbian is crazy. I fell in love with a female at age 17. I have a very special place for her. Obviously, our relationship did not work out, but even right now, going through all this, she reached out to me today. So to say that I was never a lesbian is people are searching for something. Yeah. But also, why is it not okay to say that I feel more queer now when the whole thing in the LGBTQIA community is like sexuality is fluid? Like, God, when I came out as pansexual. Then I came out as lesbian. Then I was like, maybe I am pansexual. But then maybe I was like, nah, maybe I am a lesbian. Then I was like, maybe I'm bisexual. Then I was like, you know what? I think I'm just gay. Don't know what that means. And I was like, nah, maybe I'm a lesbian. And now I'm like, I think I'm just queer. I think I just am. I think I just exist. I think I'm done having my eyes be so one-sided. You know what I mean? And I think I can just exist. No one can decide my sexuality. Not even me. You know what I mean? I can't help what I feel. I can't help who I fall for. That's how I realized I was gay in the first place. I think I had to learn at such a young age, honestly, with my height. People bully me for being tall. And I learned at that point, I can control a lot of things. I can't control my height. Then I realized the same thing with my hairline. And then I realized the same thing with my voice. And then I realized the same thing with my body weight, everything down the line. And so I think now I'm at the point where it's like, oh my God, people are really going there. Like, you can't control that. Part of the realization of being queer was me in the house realizing I'm not entirely happy, and maybe that's a side of me that's not happy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maybe that's I'm putting myself somewhere, and the thing is, queer is a very umbrella term, and it kind of just encompasses the entire community, where you don't need to put yourself in a box within the community. You can just be. I don't need to be in a box. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. I can have open eyes and an open heart and walk with one foot in front of the other.
Well said.
Okay, first of all, like, I kind of love her. Like, I feel like she's just, like, she's what we need, you know? Like, to come from dance moms and, like, be who she is with the ponytail and the bow, and then be, like, sexuality is fluid, gender is fluid, like, all this stuff. And she's, like, educating these people, like, facts, guys. Right. And also, I didn't know that the dude that's 32 is queer as well. So that makes so much more sense. Like, it feels like people are, like, jumping on this, like, sensationalizing it, when she's really just, like, coming into her queer identity. And also, like, I have a bisexual male friend who, like, I am very intimate with and will, like, kiss me on the forehead and, like, we'll cuddle and, like, whatever. I mean, it is a little bit sexual, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like okay, like, it's kind of sexual.
No, but
like,
yes.
But we also, like, we wouldn't be together. Like, we're just friends. Like, that is our friendship. If I got into a relationship and if I had a partner, like, would they be okay with that? Like, you've had friendships with women where you're like that, you know? So it's like, is it cheating for her to do? Like, that's up to her and her partner. You know what I'm saying? Right. But at the same time, like, if we're talking about queerness, non-monogamy, like, that community, I don't think it's abnormal as much, now that I know that the other person is queer, to have that sort of relationship. I do think it's still a little predatory
with the age,
but
I think like I don't believe, like, cheating is okay. I think cheating looks like something different for, like, every couple, and like I said, even if it's uncomfortable, like, I do think you have to, like, talk about that. I think, like, I don't think cheating's okay, but I do have grace for, like, because I just, like, believe that, like, you could be, like, literally so in love with someone, but, like, unfortunately, like, meet someone and, like, you, like, develop feelings for them, you know? Like, I do think it does happen, and it's hard, and, like, it's happened to me. Like, I've been left for people, like, a lot of times, and, like, it sucks, but, like, I just have grace that I'm like, we can't control as humans, like, that type of shit happens. Like, should she have, like, waited and not done it on television? Yes. But I'm like, but she's not a human. Perfect. Right. Yeah. Like, it's human shit. I think it would have been bad, like, if you, like, stay with someone and, like, continue cheating on them for, like, years and years and years. But I think if you, like, figure it out, like, I'm not gonna, like, demonize her for that. Like, I don't think it's okay. I don't. Like, she shouldn't, like, and clearly, if I was her partner watching that, it would have, like, ruined me. Like, I would have been so sad. But, like, looking at it without myself and my feelings, like, I do have, like, grace for JoJo a little bit, because it's like, fuck, like, what are you supposed to, like, I don't know.
And clearly she has, like, a deep relationship with this person, this guy, because, like, she was like, he taught me about, like, queerness and like gender fluidity. Like she's talking about like they're having deep conversations about their identity in the queer community, and that's something that she deeply cares about. So like maybe that's something that was lacking in her last relationship. We don't know.
Right.
But like whatever it was, she developed a deep connection with this person that may have like come in between her other relationship, and that shit happens. We're human.
Like, for example,
justice for
like
JoJo.
If this was happening or whatever, and like you were dating JoJo and like we were watching JoJo do that, like I would literally go out in the streets, put gasoline everywhere, and light the place on fucking fire. Like that is not okay. Yeah. I'm saying though, like I want to like just like have more like empathy for people. And I think Jojo Siwa going from lesbian to queer and like doing some cheat like behavior on Big Brother is not the worst thing happening right now.
It's scandalous.
And it's like we focus on it so hard, and like I get it. Like it's fucked up, but like if you take yourself out of it, it's like she's a 21-year-old girl that's had a crazy fucking life. Like, not to say being famous is so hard, but it is different, especially when you're a child, quote unquote, star, which she was. Like, she's never known anything different.
And she had to come out, and she had to transition from like
and
YouTube
like Nickelodeon
like
didn't invite her to the Kids' Choice Awards. Like, she had all that shit happen. But yeah, she said to Chris on Big Brother, Christopher, the love that I've gained for you in this building is insane. You're one of a kind gentleman, someone who is so easy to love, so easy to laugh with. I really, really believe you are a vital part of my life that I didn't know I was missing. And like, that doesn't sound platonic to me, but it could be. Like, I would love to have.
I mean, we say that type of stuff to each other.
Yeah,
and we mean it.
And we
like,
do, babe. I mean it so much. You don't even know. Like, it would scare you how much I mean it. So yeah, like, it's a beautiful thing. And I think the same shit with fucking Ariana and Cynthia. And everyone was like, they're dating. And it's like, can we not have a deep platonic
friendship
relationship between the like different genders, same genders, whatever? Like, we need more of that so fucking bad. Like, a lot of us like don't have true friends. You might have a lot of friends, but like friends that you feel like you can tell anything to, they're not going to judge you, is so rare. It's so fucking rare. And like, I don't know. I mean, I feel bad for Kath. Honestly, they're hot as fuck. Like, the ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, I don't know them, but damn.
Yeah, I'll put a picture on the screen. But yeah, that is really all, you guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you do like this type of kind of like more chill mini topic episode, please let us know. We don't have to keep doing it, but it does make our lives a lot easier. But yes, please follow us on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple. We're also on Instagram and TikTok at So Wet So Dry. The O's are zeros for everything. We post polls for our normal episode weekly content on our Instagram, so please follow us so you can be a part of that. And lastly, we will just ask you to kindly rate us on any podcast platform, specifically Spotify and Apple. Give it to us good, guys. Thank you so much for your...
Yes. We also have a listener support. It's $9.99, $4.99, or 99 cents a month. It is in the bottom of the description of every single episode, no matter what platform you guys are listening on. Patreon coming soon, we think. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And we love you guys so much. We will catch you in the next episode. Bye.
I'm playing a sex worker in this film, and so it was really important to me that I do as much research as I possibly can into what that line of work is like, and talk to real women who have similar lived experience to her so that I can portray Annie in a very realistic, honest way. I didn't want it to be sensationalized. I didn't want it to be too dramatized or dark. I wanted it to be honest. You know, it's her experience, what it's like being a sex worker. And so to me, I tried to represent that in the most honest way I possibly could, which was really important to me.